shall we? Please let us pay homage to the Buddha. You may join your palms together and close your eyes and recite with me. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to him, to the Blessed One, Worthy One, to the fully enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am Bhante Sarnapala. I have changed from past week to now, and this is how I present myself. Well, actually, if you're expecting him, he is in Winnipeg. He's here in spirit, but physically he has to go to his friend's funeral service, a private funeral service in Winnipeg. So he flew to Winnipeg yesterday. And he asked me to receive you all and do the talk and do the meditation. So here we are. And today I thought of talking about something that is very important for each and every one of us. And in Pali it goes as natthi, bāle, sahāyatā. This means we do not associate the fools, those who have low qualities, those who drag us into doing things that are not wholesome. They encourage us in anger, they encourage us in fights, they encourage us in destruction and things that cause our mindfulness to disappear, and we steer away maybe a little too far in wrong direction because of their influence. So this is an important lesson to learn early in our life, and we continue drawing that line, sometimes even letting go of such friendships. They are like frenemies, not friends, not enemies, but in the face of a friend they come and they are actually enemies. And they say, don't follow 5 precepts. They don't say it that way. They say, take a little bit of alcohol, take a little bit of this, little bit of that, some substances. And they say, okay, you will earn so much of money if you do this. And that kind of influence, it is bad for you in your mental health and also physical well-being. So who should we associate then? And the Buddha says, nidhīnaṃ pavattārāṃ yampasse vajja dassinam niggaiha vādīṃ medhāviṃ tādisam panditam bhaje tādisam bhajamānassa seyyo hoti na pāpiyo. Nidhīnaṃ pavattārāṃ. It's as if someone is showing you a buried treasure. Someone is showing you your faults. Vajjadassinan, they look at your loopholes, faults, erroneous behaviors, and they say, in a kind way, in a friendly way, I noticed this thing about you, and do you need any help discussing about it? It would be nice if you let go of that kind of pattern behavior that you developed maybe in your high school, or they know when, and they say, okay, it's time for you to let go of it because it has a toll on your mental and physical well-being. Niggayavādin medhavi, a wise person who is critical, but in a way that is constructive, not destructive. You can destroy a person with your criticism, you can also construct a person. Tādisam panditam bhaje, associate a wise person in that level, in that shape, in that category, in that qualities. Tādisam bhajamanasa, when you associate someone like that, seyyo hoti na papiyo, only good things happen to you, never the bad things. The influence of someone wiser than you, someone who has nicer qualities than you, it shapes up your own life, your own direction. So when I was a small child, my father told us not to go to certain houses. We didn't understand why he was telling us such things, because we had friends in those places, and the way we associated them at school is different from how my father wanted us to see those families. So I was always questioning what's wrong with my father, why is he stopping us from going to those places? So when we grow up, we slowly learn that these parents have developed some habits that my father didn't want us to see, such as killing animals at home and that kind of, and sometimes maybe they were known for stealing things, and they were known for alcoholism, and they were known for gossiping and things like that. And I think I have the merits to become a monk because someone like my father guided me. He was very strict at home. He had this I think it's the most biggest weapon he had was a stick at home, and he doesn't have to use it, but he only has to look at it and we know it's the time to correct our behavior. It's like that. And sometimes he does something like and we reset our settings totally back to our innocent modes. We question our own well-being in that moment. So I'm grateful to my father, who is now a Buddhist monk, living his life as a monk, very dedicated to his life as a true monastic, mindful about his code of discipline and his way of life as a monk. And he's grateful to that life, and he's grateful to me for becoming the first monk in the family. And then my brother, youngest, I only have one younger brother, and then two older brothers and a sister. Oldest one is a sister. So after my ordination, my brother, I think he saw all the gifts I received, and he also wanted to become a monk. But eventually he became a very nice monk who studied Pāli, and now he's a principal of a monastic school in Colombo, Sri Lanka. And my father saw how our lives were transformed from that lay life to monastic life, and how we continued changing lives of different families within our own village, because many young children showed interest in becoming monks because of how we did in our monastic lives. So I think when my father stopped us from going to those places, although I didn't understand his intentions at the time, I questioned it, but not verbally. I just thought about it in my own mind. But now I understand. Sometimes my father was restricting and putting boundaries, wanting to protect us. That is how he showed his affection, his fathering, his leadership, and teaching us moral discipline. And he always instructed us on taking 5 precepts and closely following them. So to kill even a mosquito was a punishable offense at home. You have to notice the mosquito and do this, and then you just forgive the mosquito for hurting you. That kind of behavior. You can't do this, and your father hears that, my father hears that, and you hear again telling us, don't do that again. So I think he lived as a vegan, and I think that also contributed to our eating patterns and how we looked at animals, how we cared for animals at home. We had cows at home when we grew up, and we loved them so much. And one time when they were stolen, we cried endlessly because they were family to us. We know when they were stolen, that means they were taken to slaughterhouse at night, and we may not be able to find them. Actually, we tried and there was no luck. So my father gave that affection to those animals. Stealing and that too, This is, I think, I'm sharing all this about my father. This is how, I think they are our first teachers, telling us, showing us the directions, and teaching us discipline that is necessary for us to save ourselves from a jail term. By stealing, by killing, or by engaging in any kind of misconduct or gambling or anything like that. Those things were not allowed. And lying, of course, we will get caught and we will be punished. But I'm sad to say that sometimes the mistakes I did, I wasn't punished for them. My brother was punished for them. Because my father had this idea that I wasn't going to commit a mistake. And I know I did it. And I was so afraid to reveal that I did it. But my brother was punished for it. And that actually didn't go well in our family. My brother he turned out to be a very mischievous, not so respecting my father kind of a person, even to this date, because of maybe what he went through as a child. But I did not cause them intentionally, but that's how my father looked at me. And now I see these things, when you are not living in the same environment, you have different ways to look at things. My mother, she didn't take the role of disciplining us, but she lived a life of a disciplined, good mother, housewife. So we saw it from her lifestyle. She had also different issues that she was dealing with. She was depressed for a big period of her lifetime because of her losing 5 of her siblings, and that's a different talk for a different day. So, but I'm grateful to both parents for being there and teaching us, like showing us a buried treasury, something that is buried in us that we need to polish and allow it to shine bright. And that way it shows from the way we speak, it shows from the way we behave, it shows from the boundaries we keep, and it shows from the people we associate. So all these things, they are like mirroring our own inner being, inner person inside of us. And when the Buddha taught the Mangala Sutta, the first thing he said as an auspicious thing to your life, a blessing to your life, is asevanacha bālāna, not associating foolish people. Asevanacha bālāna. And then immediately after that, the Buddha said, Panditānañca sevana, associating the wise people, those who are wise, those who have wisdom. And when they give you some advice, their eyes shine bright, because they truly, genuinely want to see that change in your life. They don't gossip about it in other places. So what happens to us, our mind, when somebody gives us advice? Sometimes we are ready to take it, sometimes we are not ready to take it. And the Buddha says in Kakachupama Sutta, in the simile of the soul, Kakacha is a soul, and it's a sutta named after this simile of someone taking a big saw, one that that is used by 2 people from either side, and if someone were to hang you and were to cut you using that, cut your body into halves using that big saw, the Buddha said, be patient, and their actions, their speech especially, will be timely or untimely. You may be ready for it, you may not be ready for it, but have metta toward them, have friendliness toward them, kindness toward them, so that your mind, your inner being is not affected by it. We may not be totally ready when somebody gives us this advice, and we feel annoyed. And we say, you are so annoying, you are so irritating, and I don't like you telling these things to me. And that kind of intensifies the situation. And that way you become a person who is not easily admonished. We need to see these things, but sometimes maybe a little later, like when the dust have settled. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. When you are calmed down, you can say, oh, let me pause and take a break and unplug myself from the situation and see, oh, this person was honestly trying to help me. He saw my suffering. He approached me in such a way that it was a private situation where I could have responded slightly differently. So that way you learn to respond to people's voices. So if you have the influence from bad people, in Parabhava Sutta, in the sutta that is talking about downfall of a person, the Buddha says, when you engage in activities that includes gambling and roaming in streets at the wrong time, when you do things like this, your life is at decline. It causes downfall in your life. And when you are able and you don't look after your parents, it causes a downfall in your life. And there are many things like that taught in those sutras. So, as human beings who have intelligence, we need to look at it this way. Our intelligence is here to serve ourselves first. When the whole world is turning against us, if your own intelligence is not there to serve you, who's going to help you? Who's going to serve you? But we need to remember that our intelligence can get hijacked easily by addictions. Our intelligence can get hijacked by bad influence. Our intelligence can get hijacked by emotions like anger. You don't make the best decisions. So these are also bad influence that we have. And then our intelligence get hijacked by computer games, electronics, social media, and having too much information coming your way, like watching TV news and being addicted to such things. I had this habit of watching plane crashes for too long. And when I got into a plane, I was panicking easily for even this regular noises, regular alarms that are supposed to be running off. And I was like, what is it? What is it? Something wrong with this plane. And then I stopped it. And then I was paying attention to how it slowly vanished, and I don't feel that way anymore. I don't have to take these noises and things personally. So that kind of addiction also can make you nervous and put you in not so mindful state, which is not serving the peace of mind for you. So the degrees that we do and qualifications you have, they are not necessarily the end in your life. They are not your guides. I know this example of an Indian PhD holder having 3 kids at home. When the COVID pandemic hit, he lost his job, and his decision was to kill his family and himself. So if his PhD helped him, he would not be in that situation and act on his killing motives. But he did act on his killing motives. He didn't approach his friends, and he took that. So when he was having that money, living in a world where in the United States you have a big house, big car, and luxury, and everything seems okay, and now all of a sudden you lose your job and you decide to take control of your life. Why don't you live your life to see what happens? Why don't you live your life to find the answers instead of killing it? So that way you are your biggest influencer, your wisest companion, right? When you live alone and you feel miserable about you, you have bad company. You yourself is the best companion. When you don't have anyone to associate, the Buddha said, Eko chare kagga visana kappo. Live alone, secluded, energetic, accepting it. Eko, just yourself. You wake up in the morning, good morning, hi me, happy to see you again. I like your company. Thank you for being there for me. You say that to yourself. You don't need anybody else to make yourself happy. You don't assign that job to somebody else. First and foremost, the Buddha said, Mano pubbangama dhamma. All the conditions that arise and pass away. Mind is the forerunner. Mind is the lead. Mind is the leader. mind-made are they. In other words, we don't live in a duplex, we don't live in a bungalow, we don't live in a big house, we don't live in a flat. We live in our mind, which is an unlimited area. If regrets are piling, worries are being built, and you are worried about your past, things you did, and you are judging, you are allowing yourself to judge yourself, you don't live in pieces. You don't live in peace, you live in pieces. Because you are limiting your freedom to enjoy this moment, the precious life you are living. That many people say goodbye right now and they die, they go. But you have these moments to meditate, to come to the temple, to speak with monks. Bhante Sarnapala is committed to doing this meditation for so many years, and over the years he has helped thousands of people through this Wednesday sitting that he has been streaming live before even the pandemic hit, changing lives, allowing people to enjoy this very life, the precious life they have. So it's amazing to see that. It's showing people that you can also live your life this way, in a way that is rewarding you. That's why when people come to Buddhism, they are, before that, prior to that change happening in their life, they are depressed. And even during meditation, they expect that depression to come. And when it doesn't come to them, they're like, what's wrong with me? I'm supposed to get depressed, but I'm not. Why? And then you realize something is right with me. But you used to always tell yourself that something is wrong with me, but now something is right with me. But then you develop the wisdom that you get sick, you run into problems, and you get judged, and all of that is part of living this life. And it is through living you find answers to these problems. And that way you appreciate the fact that you are alive and you have maybe at least this day or this month or this year, a new year, fresh start, to be a good companion to yourself. Having that friendliness toward yourself, appreciating yourself, your own time for you, and then you allow yourself to serve yourself, serve you, before you burn the oil, burn your fuel to serve somebody else and get burnt out. So today's Dhamma talk, I started with not associating foolish ones, and then highlighting the fact that we may, within ourselves, we may ourselves have these qualities of a foolish person. And we need to notice them. This 13-year-old girl, when she went to school, and she is a genius for mathematics, so her favorite teacher was the maths teacher. And two of her friends were jealous of her, so they came to school that day to do a maths test. And these two friends, two girls, they said, let's go to the restroom, we have something to introduce to you that will help you do the maths test perfectly well. So they gave her, in the toilet, school toilet, they gave her a little something, some substance. So this girl said, no, I don't want to try this, I don't have it, I'm okay. So they forced it, and she decided to have a little bit, and she said, I don't feel anything. And they said, take more. So she went on having little more. And they said, oh, it's the time for the test. So they all ran and sat there, and this girl started hallucinating and feeling it, like started not being able to focus. She threw up in the middle of the classroom. And she started screaming and yelling at the teacher, her favorite teacher. This is unusual. The teacher freaked out, ran to the principal and said, something is wrong with so-and-so person. She's only 13 years. And because the principal couldn't get the answers from the class, the principal called parents and asked the child to go home. The other two girls didn't say anything. And when she regained her senses, she spoke to the parents, and the parents reported it to the principal. Even at that time, those two girls said, no, we didn't do it. It was her who brought this to the school. Betrayal, bad influence. If she had the ability and power and strength to say no and stay with it, I think this would not have happened. But this happened, and the principal learned the true facts and suspended the two girls. And this whole story has more pieces into it, but this is how bad influence can ruin your day, ruin your school reputation. And somehow people eventually learn the truth. But it may be too late. If that girl didn't experience any of that and went on trying something like that, throughout the rest of her life, her dream of becoming a nurse would have shattered and vanished. And now she is learning to be a nurse. So she is happy about herself, the life she has chosen. And I provided counseling to this girl on that day and after that. Anyway, be a refuge to yourself, a lamp, a guide, a lead, a person who is kind to yourself, friendly to yourself, because it's going to benefit you before it benefits anybody else. Thank you for listening, and it's time to now maybe stretch a little bit and then come to a posture to meditate. The meditation bell. Thank you so much. So we go until 8:15-ish, and then see how we feel after that. Please close your eyes. And sit in a comfortable meditation posture in which you feel your back is straight and your spine is a straight line, shoulders supporting what may feel like a meditation posture, and your neck resting on the rest of your body in such a way that you are not leaning forward or backward. You are just perfectly adjusted, well enough to give attention to the whole body. Have a gentle smile on your face. Invite your breath to be fully present throughout this meditation. taking a deep silent breath in and releasing. One more breath. Full cycle of it. Scan your body from head to your toes, moving away from agitations and adjusting and allowing blood to flow through your body easily without blocking any part of your body. If you have to change your posture, please do so mindfully and quietly, respecting the silence here, that everyone is practicing mindfulness, practicing breathing meditation, ānāpānasati. Relax your head, relax your face, facial expressions, muscles. Relax the back of your head. And how do you do that? Just allow those muscles to release any tension, any tightness. Relax your neck, your shoulders, not too loose, not too tight. Following the middle path in a respectful manner, honoring your body, its health and well-being. And you notice you are breathing in and breathing out at a regular pace. And scan the rest of your body in this order. Your nostrils, your shoulders, release and relaxed, your chest, your lungs filling in with air and relaxing and released. Your sitting bones, release any tension, any tightness and relax. If you have to move, you do so mindfully without interrupting your mindfulness practice. If you have to cough, please feel free to do so and you bring mindfulness to that activity. 100% attention in whatever that is happening in you, within you and around you. When you sharpen your mindfulness, you don't get frightened easily. You see things arising and passing away. Your chest, your abdomen, your waist, thighs, thigh muscles, your knees, the shin bones, the ankles, the soles of your feet, the toes, your whole body, whole being released and relaxed, grounded and deeply rooted to the earth. And where is your breath now? Invite your breath to be the center of your attention. You pay attention to your in-breath and out-breath. What is predominantly present in your mind? If it is sloth and torpor, you observe causes and conditions of it, and you don't judge yourself, you don't judge anyone for falling asleep. Such is the nature, influence from causes and conditions, hetu and pāla, karma and vipāka, action and their results. Mindfully you breathe in, mindfully you breathe out. If you have to lie down in a position to nap, you are free to do so, and then you will come back fresh, to start fresh in this meditation, without giving too much attention to indulging in sloth and torpor, because it is a hindrance to the path toward peace. Notice how less interested you are in seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, physical sensations and thinking. These are burdening you, so you put these burdens down. You are free from these layers. This breath already is beautiful enough to pay attention to, not those 6 sense door objects. So you allow to appreciate, you may take time to appreciate in-breath and out-breath. Mindfully you breathe in, mindfully you breathe out. You notice your breath happening inside your nostrils. Sometimes some conditions like being too cold or being too warm, or the shape of your nose, you may not feel anything, but you know you are breathing. Peacefulness is buried in you, and we make right conditions for it to arise. And that is the quality of a good friend, being peaceful. Even after several years of being apart, we look forward to being with them because of that welcoming peacefulness that you felt. It may be the time now to also take a look at your posture again, to see how maybe you are bent forward and these factors contribute to ending your meditation unhappily. Taking a long breath, you are aware of it. And exhaling a long breath, you are fully aware of it. Long breath in. Long breath out. Now, short breath in, short breath out. You just know when it is long breath or short breath. Sometimes it's a long breath, sometimes it's a short breath. You notice yourself, your body starting to feel calmed, cooled down, rested, not giving into sloth and torpor, getting energized, and friendly toward yourself. Quietly, silently, scan your surrounding from your mental eye to see the energy that is built up around you, strengthening your inner core well-being. Sabbakaya patisangvedi assa sissami iti sikkati. Now sensitive to the entire body, you breathe in and breathe out. And how do you do that? You see how the breath is working throughout your entire body. You breathe in and breathe out, experiencing the whole body. If you feel any discomfort due to your sitting posture, pay attention to it and mindfully, quietly change it. We are doing Anapana meditation, not Anapain meditation. We follow the middle path, not any extremes. The extremes are to be abandoned by a wise person. Back again, paying attention to your hands, fingers, your whole body, and you increase the level of peacefulness that you feel by staying with breath as much as you can and giving focus to only that, to the breath. Allow this breath to disappear eventually. That means it doesn't totally disappear. You don't have to pay attention to it, that it happens so subtle, so smoothly, and everything, every sensation in your body is now turned off. No big activities happening, just the cells, organism and ways it work. There is no need to remind yourself to be this way and that way. Your mind is starting to feel so relaxed, unburdened with this experience of meditating, calm and peaceful. If you have to breathe in a way that is keeping yourself engaged, you can do so again, and you do it with mindfulness and kindness. And if conditions are ready, pīti patisamvedī asasisāmīti sikkati, experiencing joy because of letting go of the 6 sense door activities, relinquishing any need to indulge, the joy of being free in this moment, letting go of things that broke, things that can be fixed. Those are cluttering our mind home. And now there is joy arising, a tiny, teeny joy that arises, and you meditate with it, allowing it to increase and be present in you. Joy and tranquility. Some of you may be experiencing that while you breathe in and breathe out. During the rest of this meditation, I will be chanting the Metta Sutta in English for you to pay attention to, and you can remain your eyes closed and pay attention to how well you can radiate mindfulness. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud or demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none. The great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as the mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, onwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Now please open your eyes whenever you feel comfortable, and feel free to stretch. And any questions? The Buddha said those who ask questions will be born wise in their next lifetime. So I'm sorry about those who don't ask any questions. Yes.
I was wondering how long it takes to be able to really focus on breath if you're new to meditation.
How long it takes? It depends on your, day also. So, outside circumstances, the place where you are at, and your thoughts, and whether you are frightened and all that. So, when you begin meditation in energized, well slept situation where you are not under any kind of big influence affecting your meditation, I think it only takes 5 minutes or less to get there. You feel like you are one with breath. And it's only 4 simple steps. Mindfully breathe in, breathe out, observing long breath, short breath, sensitive to whole breath body, and tranquilizing your letting go, observing the disappearance of your breath so you don't feel it that strongly, but you know it's happening. So you increase these stages as you go, and you feel wholesome qualities in you, and you develop them as you go, like joy and tranquility, and you give more space for those qualities, and they guide you from that point onwards.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else want to be born wise next lifetime?
Just a simple question. When you don't feel your breath, so should you take deep breaths consciously to feel that back, or?
No, when you don't feel your breath, you feel something greater, like freedom, joy. Freedom from what? Freedom from seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, physical sensations, and thinking. That seclusion, and you give attention to that. You're like, I don't need the breath anymore, I have this. It's bigger than breath, because the result of that experience is bigger, and you notice that. You're like, you're happy being there with it. Breath, don't bother me. That kind of. But you still notice that you are breathing in and breathing out. It hasn't gone far from you. You are with it. Like mindfulness, factor of awakening, that's bigger. Now you are mindful of that one activity that is happening, is a bojjhanga, a factor of awakening. And you give more space to it, and it's amazing when you notice that. And so many things to do there. Anyone else? Okay, sure.
I try to meditate once a day at least, but I find myself getting distracted when I use electronics and things like that. And so it almost feels like it's hard to stay present during the day, during different activities. When I get to meditate, it's the only time I really get to stay present, or like at least consciously be present. Is there ways to try to bring that into regular, daily?
I think electronics are also helpful to us. Sometimes they send us alerts and they can play something for us, some guided instructions, and so they can be useful. But if they are distracting you to please your eyes, to look at that thing again and again, and that way it's a distraction. So we need discipline there, vinaya, which is the core, the strength of our practice. It gives us the first step to go to the samadhi, tranquility. There you tell yourself, I'm not going to use this thing to distract me, and you stick to that discipline. So that way you see your day is less distracted, and you can concentrate your mind easily, come to stillness easily, because you are not totally looking at this, looking at that, and allowing yourself to distract yourself. So discipline, sila is key. Samadhi, that's why the Buddha, when he taught sila first, moral discipline first. Something pure in the beginning, when it's pure conduct, and pure in the middle, that is your samadhi, your stillness, your concentration. And wisdom, panya, that is something pure in the end. All these, when they are all pure, it produces the greatest results. So disciplining yourself. You can include not using any electronics into your daily 5 precepts, except for work, but not for distractions. It can have a huge impact on your mental peace and well-being. Anyone else? Yeah.
What do you do with pain? Like when I was meditating right now, I found my leg was hurting the whole time. And it's very difficult to get to that place of joy when you're always feeling this pain.
Is it physical pain or mental? Is it because of the posture?
It is because of the posture, and no matter what I was doing, it wasn't going away.
Okay, so you were kind of wanting to feel comfortable in your sitting posture and,
Yeah,
and
I'm
focus.
comfortable with the pain.
Hmm.
So I know it's not going to kill me, but it's really hard to accept.
Do you think moving to a chair would help?
I don't normally have this problem. I don't know today is an exception, but in general, I'm asking. It does come.
Yeah, so the first thing is that this pain is not mine. It's caused because of conditions that is physical and also emotional sometimes, we don't know. And also because of the seasons and changes and all of that, genetics and so many other conditions. And when we don't have to own it as mine, we stop controlling it. We let it be. And we find ways to make a space that is not distracting us in such a way. It's like those astronauts having a space to move without hitting on anything, but it's just that they are free floating. That kind. Maybe I'm looking for this actually, the best chair to meditate without getting distracted, things like that. Someone has to invent something like this. It doesn't have to be expensive, but it can help us stay in position to easily come to stillness of mind. So we can be innovative of it. Maybe dedicating more time to walking meditation, less time in sitting meditation, and that way you have a nice transition from sitting to walking and walking to sitting, and that way you see whether it's going to help. So you can experiment with it, but it's not your pain. It is the pain, and you let it go. Yeah. It comes and it lives as long as it wants to live, and it disappears. It's never permanent. Yeah. Yes.
Is it possible to do walking meditation?
Yeah. But make sure you don't walk on a rock, eyes closed. You need to be in a safe ground. I think a distance from here to there and mindfully walking, minding your steps and following the sensations of your body will be a good step, and turning mindfully and not too fast, not too slow, and that is a perfect one of the favorite meditations of the Buddha and many monks. And then you sit right at the end of your walking, wherever that is, and you have a place to sit, and you don't break your mindfulness, and you begin your sitting practice, and it easily brings you to a very peaceful state of meditation. Yeah. Walking meditation is a big thing.
I never tried that. That's why.
Please do try. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you feel like when you do walking meditation, somebody comes and tries to talk to you, and you feel like they are too far, like far away from you, because of how concentrated you are. And it's like some force, some energy is carrying you forward and backward, and you are one with that rhythm. And noises and sounds, they are far from you. And it's amazing. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, Happy New Year everyone, and let's transfer merits. May the suffering ones be suffering free, fear struck, fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, may all beings be at ease. May Devas and Nagas receive these merits and safeguard the dispensations of the Buddha. May they protect us and guard us in our ways, in every walk of our lives. May all beings be free from dukkha, all sufferings. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for coming.